So when I was in the shower the other day, an interesting thought came to my head. What if I created the world's longest vehicle in Tears of the Kingdom and then try to cross Hyrule with it? The rules for this challenge are simple. Create the longest vehicle possible, use it to traverse the set path across Hyrule, and if it breaks, I must restart from the beginning no matter what. If for whatever reason this path is too difficult to the point that I can physically no longer continue, I am allowed the authority to change the route, based on the simple fact that Hyrule's topography is difficult to traverse with even short vehicles, so adding 4 football fields worth of length will come with its own challenges. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm gonna try it anyway. You know those shower thoughts that you have that you think, oh, this is gonna be a great idea? Don't ever listen to your shower thoughts. Your shower thoughts are bad. Your shower thoughts are worse than going to a McDonald's parking lot and eating the french fries off the ground. Don't do it. Anyway, just let this idiot explain his concept or whatever. So what is it going to take to create the world's longest vehicle? Well, first things first, we need to scope out our competition. And after a lot of research, 2 minutes, I found a whole 2 videos on the subject. Yeah, you heard me right, 2 videos. Surprisingly, that's more variety than the champion cutscenes. Anyway, let's watch the first video together. I guess? Who am I kidding? This is horrible. Are you joking? I have seen mosquitoes with longer appendages than that. All right. Anyway, let's just look at the second video. Maybe they're better. I don't know. I mean, okay. Decent length. It looks nice. All right. Looks sturdy, but it's just not long enough. Like your girlfriend tells you, champ. Honestly, I think I can do better. One obvious fact already that I can point out is neither of these 2 people are using the longest object you can find in Tears of the Kingdom. And thanks to the wisdom of Game Explain and their video, this is the longest object you can get. It's a log. Hey, it's present me again. Past me is an idiot, but past me doesn't realize he's an idiot yet. This is subtle foreshadowing if you haven't realized it yet. Anyway, does it not also bother you that they call it the world's longest stick? That is not a stick. It's a log. A log is not a stick. A stick is a stick. A log is a log. To prove my point, if you fuse a log to a sword, it doesn't say stick sword. It says it's fused to a log. A log. That's like calling a chicken sandwich a chicken burger. What the hell is wrong with you, Australia? I swear, the kangaroos haven't knocked enough sense into you people yet. If you want to see the world's longest stick, here is the world's longest stick you can make in Tears of the Kingdom. It's actually not that impressive, but see, this is actually true. So building the foundation for this vehicle is actually extremely simple. I'm not going to show you all the boring parts of me putting it together and chopping down a bunch of trees for 2 hours. So anyway, just know it went something like this. Smack. Yeah, my audio didn't record for this section, okay? My main plan I came up with for the vehicle was this. I'll attach 15 logs in a straight line, and then for the 16th log, we're going to put it at a slight angle for ground clearance purposes. This is also just enough playroom for me to attach 4 wheels and a steering stick, maxing out the fuse slots for Ultra Hand at 21. With all the logs attached, we are left with one gigantic lengthy shaft with a slight amount of Peyronie's disease at the end. I then expertly attached the wheels, taking extra care to make sure everything was perfectly lined up and centered. It was finally time to test out my creation, and I mean, it kind of works. But I think the problem is we need some flat ground. On my way to flatter ground, I passed a moose who got really scared of the length of my shaft.
That's big.
I think he was probably jealous. And in his jealousy and knowing that he wasn't ever going to reach the height or length of me, he ended up jumping off the cliff. Once I arrived at flatter-ish ground, it seems that I have made a slight miscalculation in squaring the wheels. A slight miscalculation? Are you kidding me? That's about as crooked as a 2x4 you can get at Home Depot. I mean, I guess in my own defense, I have a lazy eye, so I guess that checks out. Anyway, this fool thinks this is gonna work? Let's watch this together. I mean, I don't think you can call this driving, but it's more like sliding with the grace of a southerner when the roads are slick. After this little failure, I decided it was time to give up for the day, and I went to bed to give myself a little bit of a break. I think I took the wrong meds. It's been more than 4 hours. It was finally the next day, and I decided this would be the day I'm going to stream to my massive audience and rob, brainstorm ideas with chat to help me in my conquest. This is what chat and I learned. First, don't leave your shaft out in a lightning storm. Although this might have been helpful last night. Okay, this may be slightly workable, possibly kind of... Did lightning strike that stick and it blew apart? I can't... Are you kidding me? Are you joking? You're actually joking right now, right? Right? Okay. All right, lesson learned. Do not have a giant stick in the middle of Hyrule Field when there's a lightning storm because it'll break everything in half. We learned something new. I really appreciate your streams. They're very entertaining. Well, I'm glad that you're entertained by my idiocy. The second thing I learned, symmetry matters. Duh. There was literally nothing wrong with my original design. It was just blatant stupidity on my part. And it only took me 3 hours to finally make it work. Every time I see that just... it's so dumb. It's very practical. This is an extremely practical vehicle. Wow. I don't think I could have done that any better, honestly. That's clean. From this angle, it looks like a giant cow. Okay. Okay, progress. This is progress. It's going the wrong direction, but that's okay. Yes, success. Other than it's kind of stuck. I think this challenge is feasible with this right here. Okay, let's get it into a position where it will actually work. Oh my God, it's working. This is significantly harder to control than I figured it would be. It's like driving a boat. This is terrible to drive. This is horrible. Okay, I see some faults in the design. I'm so happy right now. This made the past 3 hours worth it. After creating a drivable long vehicle, I was quite proud of myself, but this feeling would only last about 30 minutes because after I finished the stream, I plopped myself down on my bed and decided to do a quick search to make sure that this is truly the longest item you can get in Tears of the Kingdom. And guess what? I was entirely wrong. There is in fact a longer object you can get, but it brings into the question of morality. This item in question is a giant seesaw only found in one location inside the Yiga clan shrine, and it is exclusively obtained through glitching the game. I came to a point of moral crossroads. On one hand, I just won't use the glitched item at all and continue with my vehicle that I have now, or I can make a longer vehicle but it's with a glitched item. And as you could imagine, I turmoiled over this decision for a little while. But one thing finally became clear. Fuck it. I never felt bad about using glitches before, so why should I care now? If I can make a longer vehicle, I'm gonna do it. With that decision made, how do we go about obtaining the giant seesaw? Well, I am one of the fortunate individuals with the second most broken version of Tears of the Kingdom next to the launch version. Version 1.1.1. And as much as Daddy Nintendo tries to make me update their game every single time I click on the application to open it, I give it the big fat middle finger and say update later. Anyway, I went onto the internet and did a quick search of how to obtain this item, and I found a video that said for versions 1.2 and lower. Spoiler alert, this video didn't fucking help me at all. This is when I started digging deep into the crinkles of my brain. About a year ago, Nobody cares! Shut up! Hey, it's Edit TJ. He rambles for about 5 minutes, so here's the short version. He struggles to find the method, he finds the method. Here's how we obtained it. You're welcome. This is how the process went. Find a large object in the shrine like this panel. Fuse and tangle the panel to your shield, which makes the game think that the object is attached to the shield when it is not. Walk over to the wall, drop smuggle the shield that thinks it is attached to the panel to another shield. Now the game is glitched, and this object is now permanent under a certain condition. I need to adjust the seesaw in order for the glitch panel to block the spawning of this object, along with the 3 blocks that are attached to it. Hit recall, open the menu, save, and load the game back into the shrine. This was the easy part. Now it was all up to the RNG gods. And my, how much do they loathe me. This was really painstaking. Just made me want to cry. I cried myself to sleep that night, actually, after I tamed this, but that's besides the point. I'm sure the guy back there probably shares the same sentiment that I do. Guy. Hey! Hey! You can't swear! This is YouTube! You can't do that! You're gonna get me fucking demonetized! Ah! I swear. So with the seesaw successfully in my possession, it's time to start building with it. Yeah, nah, you're not. I am gonna show you the seesaw. Not past me. Past me can shut the fuck up because past me doesn't realize how hard it is yet to build with the seesaw. Why is it a pain, you might ask? Well, there's one teensy tiny little problem with it. Let's see if you were paying attention. Now, why would it be hard to build with the seesaw? Because it no clips through the ground. Now, if you didn't realize this yet, you have TikTok brain, a disorder that causes your attention span to drop below the 2-minute threshold. Anything longer than 2 minutes and your brain fries. So, you guys really need help. Really. Either that or you have ADHD, I don't know. If hell gave me a challenge, it would be this. Recall and stakes are about the only thing you can use to build with this object. Not to mention, it is extremely heavy. It is probably almost just barely a little bit heavier than your mom. But hey, at least lightning won't break it in half. No, but horses will. Unfortunately, my recording software didn't capture this part because my dumbass forgot to empty out the space on my computer, so everything was full. All my hard drive space was full. I'm stupid. I'm an idiot, but that's besides the point. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. After this cut off right here, a horse, dead ass, walked straight into it and snapped it in half, sending it through the ground sinking along with my will to live. A place I really don't want to be because I don't want to see Ravioli again, and the guy, I'm so glad he's 6 feet under. Fuck that guy. Anyway, after a lot of mental torture later, I arrived on my first variant, which I dubbed the Titanic, for its long, sturdy nature of humorous proportions. Seriously, I can't help but smirk every time I see this. It's so dumb. Only in Tears of the Kingdom can you make something this stupid, right? Anyway, my creation is a whopping 400 meters long. In freedom units, that is about 1,312 feet. And fun fact for you guys. Oh, I just belched. That's not the fun fact. The Titanic was actually 883 feet. So my creation right now, as it sits, is longer than the Titanic. I should give myself a pat on the back. Anyway, let's watch past me. Enjoy in his revelations as he test drives the world's longest vehicle. It's finally time to test drive the Titanic. Also, please pay no attention to the tires, like I've said before. They're perfectly fine. And finally, all my efforts are bearing fruits. It drives and is quite stable, maybe a little top-heavy, and the tires are there, but it's working. And that's all that matters. Hold up, pause the video for a second. All that matters, you say. Seems like you're forgetting something. You know, the challenge part of this video. Maybe, just maybe, you'll finally wake up and see the blunder in your ways. I hear all it takes is an iceberg. A tiny, little, insignificant iceberg to wake someone up or kill hundreds. I didn't think a small rock was going to be that much of a problem, but now's a good time to explain the mechanics of the shrine part. We know that they no-clip through the ground, but there's one gigantic Achilles heel to the shrine part. It's the fact that any movable objects, such as rocks Link can pick up from the ground, or objects you can move with Ultra Hand, have a hitbox that interacts with the shrine part. This can include animals and NPCs as well. This was the main reason that I built the vehicle so high in the first place, was to maybe surpass these objects, but as you just saw, it made the whole thing top heavy and it did practically nothing anyway, so it's back to the drawing board. So I redesigned it into this. Long and simple. I think this will work much better. But I need to point out another problem that has arisen. And it has nothing to do with the vehicle, but the challenge itself. Remember how I said if things got too difficult and I could no longer continue on that designated path I created? Well, I'm invoking that rule right now because I learned a lot while creating this vehicle. Taking my original path is physically impossible due to a multitude of reasons. Man, does this guy ever shut up? He rambles for way longer than needed, so here's the short version. The current path is way too hard for current vehicle to travel on, so here is the new path. You're welcome. So instead of crossing Hyrule, we're going to cross Hyrule Field, starting from Lookout Landing to the finish line, which is Hylia Bridge. Oh, joy. If you think this is going to be easy, I'm going to prove you wrong. There's nothing easy about this. I'm half living proof. The other half, he's back there. Clinically insane, I'm pretty sure. Today is finally the day that I will start attempting this challenge. So far, toying around with my vehicle, I learned auto build hates super long objects. Normally, when you auto build something, it will save everything as it was before. Although in this case, auto build does not save the wheels and steering stick, so I have to manually attach them each run. It's extremely annoying and time consuming. And if you don't believe me yet when I say this thing is erect, I mean long. The front of the vehicle has a different weather pattern compared to the center of the vehicle and the rear of the vehicle. It can be raining at the front of the vehicle, sunny in the middle, and raining at the rear, all at the same time. This is pushing Tears of the Kingdom to its limits. I can tell this is going to take a toll on me. Here's attempt 1. Wheel jiggles are normal. Don't worry, it's due to the sheer weight the rear tire is holding up. It will tend to freak out and beg for mercy most of the time, but somehow it still has the same speed and torque no matter the weight, as long as hills are not involved. Which is a bad thing, because my god, is this stupid thing hard to control. And it looks like we're stuck. I hop off and give it a slight jiggle to unstick the vehicle, which worked quite well. Now we are ready to continue. 10 feet forward, smashing into invisible nothing. If you think it's a tiny rock ahead somewhere, it's not. I already scoped out the spot and no physical objects exist in my path. I managed to reverse it and get it moving forward again, only to be stuck for a third time. So I ran to see what the problem was. Guess what? Legit nothing. Nothing is in my way and I don't get it. So instead of running all the way back, I figured I would watch the front because we know the rear is perfectly fine. I then engaged the vehicle again with an arrow and boom, we're back to moving. This makes no sense, but whatever. Not to mention this damn thing is rocking super hard for no reason, so I stopped it again. We should be past whatever's causing the problem anyway, I think. I ran back and started driving it again, this time in full control. And would you look at that? A beautiful success. It's moving like a dream. I'm also holding it back a lot so it doesn't get out of control, which is why it's going so slow. It was going very well. But just like anything, another hiccup, and we're stopped. This time, it's much easier to back out of the stuck, but we are stuck again. Instead of pushing it further, I went ahead and looked to see what was causing the problem. The front left tire is having a major seizure. I'm not sure what that's about. So just to see like I did last time, I struck it with an arrow and boom, we started moving again with no issue. That is twice now it's been stuck on nothing. I'm not sure why it's behaving this way, but I guess. I let it move forward a decent distance, then I went back to control it again with the steering stick. We are back in business, even though it's acting kind of strange, tilting hard to one side, but it eventually corrects itself. This is the most distance I think we have traveled so far without catching on something. But then out of the blue, the vehicle hard locks and the rear tire disconnects without warning, sending the whole thing through the ground. By my best estimates, we were just barely under halfway to our main goal, which is a great first run. On to attempt number 2. It failed before we even left Lookout Landing. Attempt number 5. I got tired of walking back and forth because the front would get stuck, so I put the steering stick at the front. I had to murder a tree to progress forward as well. Also, the vehicle this time seems super unstable, but it still moved forward to my surprise. Placing the steering stick on the front seemed to be much more reliable than my other method, and we made a significant amount of progress before it stopped dead in its tracks and started hopping. Out of fear it would break, I jumped off immediately. I toyed around a bit to no avail, so I tried the steering stick again, and it went back to bouncing. I spent way longer than I would have liked to trying to get this damn thing to unstick itself. I finally got fed up and picked it up to see if I could get it to unstick from whatever it was stuck on, which is nothing. I swear. But boy, the game sure as hell doesn't think so. I managed to break it loose, then placed it back on the ground. And about 10 seconds later, a mysterious force broke my rear wheel, sending me into a rage. I was so over it, so I went to bed, hopefully to try again tomorrow with better results. Day 2, attempt 20. I don't even know what's going on here to cause it to rotate so violently. Also, I'm adjusting where I start to see if one way is better than the other, and each different starting point seems to end in similar results, bouncing and crashing through the ground. Day 4, attempt 45, I think. Things are kind of starting to get weird. Like, the game is breaking more and more with each attempt. I built it the same way I normally do and have started from this point numerous times. And this time, it does this? Like, huh? You're just gonna float in midair and act like you're stuck on something when there's nothing there? Excuse me? And then just randomly come to your senses and fall to the ground? I don't understand anymore. Okay, let's just control it. And go figure, it's stuck. On invisible nothing. I jumped off and headed to the front to unstick it like normal. And I guess I looked at it funny or I smelt bad. I don't even know. I just want to give up and go to bed. Challenge log. Day 6, attempt 69. I had a good feeling about this one. I decided to change up how I would normally place the wheels on the front and tuck them underneath the vehicle instead of attaching them to the sides. This also increased my ground clearance a little. Maybe this will be the small adjustment I need to surpass my first attempt. Yes, if you were wondering, my first attempt is still by far my best out of this many attempts. I guess beginner's luck comes back to bite you in the ass later. And with this attempt, like so many before, the vehicle was stuck. But this time, it was actually stuck on a tree. An evil tree. I took care of the problem. Now it was time to test out the adjustments. So far, so good, but I noticed something strange. The rear end started to slide hard to the right for no reason. It seems like no matter what I do, the game truly hates me. And just like the front, the rear was now stuck on nothing. I went back to the rear to control it from there. Again, it got stuck. I think I have actually spent more time running back and forth than driving this damn vehicle. At least this time, the front was actually stuck on a rock instead of nothing. So I guess there's a plus. This is close to my furthest attempt I've had so far, but like so many times before, it breaks for no reason. Challenge log. I'm not even surprised at this point, man. Challenge log. Day, I don't know, like 14 at this point. Attempt, I don't know. If you're wondering how most of my attempts go, the ones I don't show, most of the time it goes like this. I spend 3 or more minutes attaching the wheels. I get ready and start for it, only to hit nothing and fall through the ground. Challenge log. I don't even remember what attempt we are on or how many days it's been. I spend a few hours every night trying to make this work, only for more deja vu. Again. And again. And again. Failure. After failure. After failure. I'm slowly losing the plot, man. Challenge log. I finally came to the point, maybe let's try some different scenery. Hopefully that'll help. 500 plus attempts in one location really makes you question your sanity. This location is very nostalgic for me. It was the starting place of many failures and my greatest success. Maybe this location is special and things will turn out different. Nope. Legit the same things over and over again. And also new things to get stuck on. Like, really? Although there has been one consistency in this spot. It seems I get stuck out here in the same spot and my rear tire breaks off. I guess the horses have come back for revenge. Oh boy, stuck on more random nothingness. After more attempts than I could physically count at this point, we're getting closer to the present day me. Remember how I said, don't listen to your shower thoughts? Well, I allowed it to happen one more time. Fuck it, we're going sideways. And with that failure, we're at present day me. Actually, that failure was yesterday, but for whatever reason, after that one, he appeared. I'm not exactly sure how. He just kind of showed up and he's been staring at me, playing the Switch off and on as I've recorded this. I don't get it anymore. Oh, worry not, my little slave. You don't need to think. Refrain from asking questions. Just keep doing the challenge like I asked you to. We'll eventually succeed. Hey, what's going on here? I thought I told you to attempt the challenge while I was gone. What do you mean, attempt the challenge? I am your master. I've been editing this video for a while now. Did you forget your place? I never asked for you to do any of that. I only asked you to attempt the challenge as many times as you could and then report back to me. Don't start invoking your own thoughts and will into this. That's not how this works. Also, why is he here? Did what I say not register in your feeble little mind? Don't you remember? I'm the one who brought you here. And to answer your question, he's my hallucination, which also makes you my hallucination. Are you getting the picture yet? What? Evidently not. Let me explain it to you in simple monkey brain terms so you can understand. You see, I stopped taking my meds so all of you would appear. I enlisted you, slave, so you could attempt the challenge as many times as I see fit. I think you misremembered. It wasn't you who told me to attempt the challenge, it was the other way around. Is it coming back yet? Just stop toying with me. I'm sick of it. I think it's time for you and the other one to go. A little dramatic, I would say, when you're not even the real me. Go ahead. See what happens when you take those meds. The only thing it's going to do is make you lose your memories anyway, as soon as they take effect. Don't try to trick me again. It's not a trick. We've been through this before. But you don't remember. This is you. I made you record all of this under my supervision. You're the sole reason that I don't even remember the amount of attempts that I've taken on this challenge. I've been through so much pain and suffering. And it's all because of you. You're the one that's making me crazy. Yeah, that's true. But it's all by design, myself. Now, why don't you be a good little slave and get back to doing the challenge like I told you to do? He seems to be doing it just fine, so why don't you? Just shut up already. I'm done. Just get out of here. Finally, some peace and quiet. Are you sure about that? What? You thought that worked? Eh, whatever. You'll lose your memories soon enough anyways. Now that we have that cleared up, everyone, get back to doing the challenge like you're supposed to.